Well, this controversy exploded today. It's time to talk about Ark Survival Evolved, or as maybe some people call it, Ark Survival Devolved, because they've had quite the funny situation happen. Ark's one of those games that doesn't always generate the headlines because it's just quietly there, pulling extreme high numbers. Now, of course, it's a game that has had its controversies. I think the first major controversy they had was selling DLC for the game, while technically the core game was under the early access label. Now, that all led to the funny situation of the reaction to Ark 2. Or maybe some people felt that, right, there's been long-standing issues with the game, they're kind of frustrated that those haven't been fixed in the core game, because instead they're feeling, oh, the devs are just moving over to Ark 2. But of course, some people are just happy to have a fresh start, have a big new game to sink their teeth into. And that's kind of where things got weird, because Ark 2 will not be finished in time for its 2023 release. But the way that this has happened is weird. It's not just your normal delay. So basically, using the tech and knowledge from building Ark 2, Wildcard are going to build a new version of Ark 1 that has many of the fixes and updates that people actually asked for modded into it. But then, they don't want to run two games, right? For a lot of obvious reasons, one of them being the cost. So they're also then ending support for Ark 1. So Ark 2 is being delayed. There's going to be a new version of Ark 1, and the not new version of Ark 1 is having its official support, including official servers, be ended, with them instead asking people to pay for Ark 1 Remastered in order to keep, doing their thing. And that led to headlines such as this: Ark 2 has been delayed, and Ark 1 is being killed unless you buy a remaster. Now, there is a little bit more to this story, by the way, but obviously this did not go down well, because yes, Ark 2 is being delayed. You do have to buy the next-gen remaster, but Ark 1 is not being killed in the way that online games have been wiped out. Instead, it's messier. But thankfully, it's actually quite a bit more interesting for us. So, what is this next-gen version? Well, it's called Ark Survival Ascended. Unreal Engine 5, it releases for next-gen consoles and PC, and it will be out by the end of August this year. Now, on Xbox and PC, you can only buy this as a part of a bundle with Ark 2 for $50. Now, this is going to be sold as a bundle for 1 year, and it'll grant access to a 1-month closed beta for Ark 2, which is going to be a 2024 thing. And then PlayStation users, they can only buy the Ascended version as a standalone game for $40, which does feel rather premium. So basically, right, while they're building Ark 2, they've used this as an opportunity to take their tech and to try to construct a new version of the original game, sort of de-risking Ark 2 a bit. In a way, it almost gives them like advanced, testing of some things that they want to do for Ark 2, which is then a little bit awkward given that those people are paying for this version of Ark 1 that I suppose is only really going to be the in vogue thing for like a year or less, perhaps, which is really bizarre. But because of these changes, it's not going to be backwards compatible. So that's why they say this can't just be an update to Ark Survival Evolved. Instead, it has to be a separate product. But this actually may be for the best, because the game design changes of Ark 2 may not actually be for all of its player base, because those are Souls-like combat, primitive-only weaponry, strict third-person mechanics, and overall a very serious tone. And overall what this means is that there's going to be Ark Survival Ascended and then Ark 2, as I suppose games that maybe will be targeting different segments of the overall large Ark player base, with Ark 2 perhaps serving as something that can then bring in even more players. Now, of course, the question may be, what is the value proposition here? What am I actually going to be getting? What's going on? Well, you will get quite a lot, actually, and there is a but. So, Unreal Engine 5 overhaul with Nanite, Lumen, and RTX Di. So basically, big graphical features. Dynamic water, interactive foliage. I think that'll be quite nice. Unreal Engine 5 performance gains with instanced rendering, so it's important for larger bases, threaded server networking, and then native physics engine. Now, why is this going to be a good thing? Well, yeah, our Arc could really struggle, so you would hope that these things would improve it. Also, quality of life improvements, new content, balance, gameplay changes. There is a survival of the fittest battle royale mode as a fully supported branch of the game, cross-platform multiplayer, including cross-progression, chat, friends lists, but obviously Ark Survival Ascended. That's not any cross-platform with Ark Survival Evolved, and a few other things like art assets being updated, newly designed holiday events delivered through the optional mod pipeline, meaning they're always accessible, instead of, I suppose, just being only there in a time-limited fashion. Also then, cross-platform modding, and they're doing this with Overwolf. Overwolf, I was actually surprised in how large Overwolf is as a company, but yeah, they're doing cross-platform mods by basically taking PC-created mods and running them on consoles through a backend, which does include streamlining the process of updating older mods to run in the game, with then the potential of Overwolf to do paid mods and have their creators get a 50-50 cut of all sales. Now, that's one of those things. I'm sure some people will think, oh, paid mods, I can see how this is bad. I'm sure other people will then say, oh, well, look at what the YouTube Partner Program did. It meant that, as an example, people like us and many others can spend their full time, as in our case, fully researching news stories. So then you can learn about them. I suppose the hope there, the bright side, the glass half full side of things is, okay, yeah, if people could make money by making Ark mods, and you really like Ark, then you could end up in a situation where you have legions of full-time developers making things for Ark that you can enjoy. Where otherwise, if those people were only able to do it in their evenings and weekends, you perhaps wouldn't get as much content. I suppose that's the bullish case for that sort of thing, but as we know, in a lot of these cases, grifters end up just trying to thieve other people's mods and then upsell them in the store, and you kind of end up with this really subpar experience. So that obviously can be quite a problem. So overall then, Ark Survival Ascended is not just a port. It actually is quite a bit more. They even have a few next-gen sort of facing features like ray tracing, this whole cross-platform modding thing. In fairness, is actually pretty damn interesting. I mean, there's a lot of times, as an example, chilling out on the sofa, maybe just want to randomly play some Minecraft. Look, it happens. But if I could do that, using, say, some of the mod packs that I enjoyed when I was younger, like Tekkit or Industrial Craft, then, that would be great. In consoles, there's always been that subpar modding experience. That being cross-platform is a pretty cool thing. Now, all of this does cost money, especially, you're bringing in third parties, you're doing all these things. But then the thing is, it's a bit weird. Are you getting something over Ark 1? Yeah, undoubtedly, you're getting way more. But I think the way that they've talked about this has not been ideal. And this is where the but comes in. Because the but is the lead designer / programmer and co-creative director of Ark Survival Evolved, co-founder of Studio Wildcard, did tell people in January that this was going to be a free upgrade / remaster to Unreal Engine 5. That is, okay. Expectations were not set. To clarify, the UE5 tease a couple of weeks back is referring to the in-the-works complete free upgrade remaster of Ark Survival Evolved to Unreal Engine 5, not a cinematic. We have not officially announced Ark UE5 upgrade yet, because there's other major things we want to show then as well. So $50, right? Bit weird. The expectations not set well. And to overall cover this value proposition then, you're not just paying $50 for the Unreal Engine thing, you're also getting a bunch of those other features I talked about. You are getting the fully supported Battle Royale version of the game, and you're also getting a copy of Ark 2. Right, whenever that comes out. Now, obviously, you don't know if you want Ark 2 yet, because you've not played it. But then, here's the other bit that's odd. What happens if you want to have the Scorched Earth, Aberration, Extinction, and then both Genesis DLCs? If so, then it's $20 for the first three, then it's $20 for the latter two, and only Scorched Earth is going to be playable on launch. The rest will be launching from Q3 2023 onwards into 2024. And in addition to that, there is an Ascended exclusive expansion pack that will be launching by the end of 2023 with 4 new dinosaurs, and also that is going to be paid, which has led to this, community meme that is, completely free, 19.99, 49.99, 39.99. Yeah. This is exactly how to not communicate things for your game. In fairness, I feel like this kind of communications bungle is something that they've done before. But of course, what's been really causing the headlines is not necessarily this value proposition, but it is Ark Survival Evolved situation. Because let's go back up to that Forbes headline that got all the talk. Ark 1 is being killed unless you buy a remaster. So that's that, right? So let's go and see then what's going on. So support for Survival Evolved is ending. That's true. In June, which is the 8th anniversary of the game, it will have its last content update, with ongoing updates only being for crashes and critical bug fixes. Some existing features are going to have support be ended as well. Various map forms will be sunset, including Primitive Plus, Split Screen, and procedurally generated maps. And these are things that will not be recreated in Survival Ascended. But that is getting its whole custom content mod pipeline put in, I suppose, so that this can just be a community-made thing. Now, one good thing is they're considering releasing source files for the Primitive Plus mode so that people could basically repurpose it in to that whole, mod pipeline thing, which is good. But ultimately, you do have the situation where, look, the dedicated servers, the official server support is going to be ended when the new game comes out. But you're going to be able to play single player, non-dedicated, player dedicated, and unofficial servers. So that is an important thing, because it does mean that modders and existing dedicated fans who are playing on a not official server, they're going to be fine. And who knows, now, by the time that this game is really quite long in the tooth, maybe most people are not playing on the standard, the standard official servers. It is still going to impact people, right? There are a lot of people who just don't want to bother with the non-official servers, but it is the case that Survival Evolved is actually still a game that you can play. It just won't have the official server support. Official servers are for Survival Ascended. So I guess we then come back to that Forbes headline. Is Ark Survival Evolved being killed unless you buy Survival Ascended? The answer is a firm no. That is not factually correct. Is it losing features? Yeah. You could say Ark 1 is being wounded in order to have the remaster. I think that's fair. Killed, that's maybe a bit too much. But obviously, that's the perception spread around. It was an effective headline, and I suppose that's, was overall the job. They're also promising that save data from official servers will be uploaded for players to rehost on their own servers for single player and non-daddy, as well as slightly earlier snapshots. So nothing necessarily is being lost there, but it will be a bit more complicated. There'll be people who've been playing in communities in this game on a server, an official one, and in a way, a lot of people are now going to have to restart in the new version, Survival Ascended, after 7 years. So it is definitely the end of a sort of an epoch for the game, and I think a masterclass in not setting your community expectations. I mean, you look at this tweet, that there is going to be a complete free upgrade remaster of Survival Evolved in Unreal Engine 5. And that just ain't true. You can't do that. You can't say things that aren't true. That's rough, right? So, it's one of those situations that's challenging, honestly. Is Survival Ascended probably going to be a pretty good time? Sure. And ultimately, buying Survival Ascended in most cases does get you a copy of Ark 2. So you can absolutely see the way that they were thinking here. They were thinking, right, what are we going to do to salvage this situation now that Ark 2 is going to be delayed? Okay, we'll basically let people buy Ark 2 early, and if they do that, they get this $40 edition. Or, well, the otherwise priced on the PlayStation Store was $40. Version of the game with Survival Ascended. But then again, there's also the DLC thing and all that weirdness, so how not to do it? And I would have imagined that they've been so they're maybe so swimming in cash that things like this aren't necessarily a big worry for them. So I just think, like, why would you take the community hit doing it like this, especially because it's a survival game where community's everything? I don't know. It's a bit odd, but at the very least, now you know what's going on with this story in a pretty complete fashion. So hopefully if you at least found the story interesting, and I hope the info is helpful. Anyway, that's it from us. If you'd like to support what we're doing, you can check out there we go, The Pale Beyond, which we now have our team hoodies for. You can check out the video game that we developed on Steam. We just hit our recent reviews being 95% positive, which gives us the overwhelmingly positive label on Steam, which, to be honest, we're all pretty damn chuffed about. I mean, at least it was that as of the time of recording. Let's hope it hasn't slipped. But yeah, turns out, if you do good post-launch support and you squash bugs as soon as you can, people will say, thanks, you listened to us. Cool. It worked out well. Anyway, that's it for today's video. If you want to check out some more news, I think you'll like this video next.